Deepak, your accent is saying that probably you had been abroad, or what
I
exactly?
yeah, basically I've studied in New Zealand
Uh-huh.
and I've worked there for
Uh-huh.
good 7 years.
Uh-huh.
And since it's been more than 10 years now, I've been running an education consultancy wherein we assist students with their education abroad in English-speaking countries.
Okay.
And we also do exams. You might have heard of IELTS, TOEFL, GRE, SATs.
Great, great,
Yeah.
great, 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 great. Are you in movement? Because somewhere, time your voice is breaking.
No, no, I'm at home only
Okay,
in
okay.
Bhopal. Yeah.
So you can really position yourself in the area where the connectivity is maybe relatively better, so that
Yeah.
we can have
So I'm
a smooth communication.
sure. I hope I'm audible to you.
Yeah, you are certainly
Okay.
audible. Audible.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay, so would you please tell me what your dad has really told you, and how much impressed you are finding, and what are the reason of your getting impressed?
No, undoubtedly, the I think he's really inspired by the speech that you delivered
Okay.
very recently during this session,
Uh-huh.
and obviously the initiative about this app that he already talked about,
Mm-hmm.
wherein you're trying to connect people
Mm-hmm.
and to be able to address those relevant key issues that people are experiencing and are finding it difficult to get the solution. So
Very, very true. Very true.
yeah,
Do
so
do you
these
have
were
Deepak? Do you have the realization that our whole problems are emanating from basically our so-called politician?
right.
They were not truthful. They were basically deceitful. They defrauded their own public,
Yeah,
and basically whatever the rules, regulation, administrative and judicial system which was enacted by or created by the Britishers,
right.
it was meant to suppress, crush,
That's
so-called
correct.
the mutiny in their own language,
Right.
which we remember as a first war of independence,
That's
and
correct.
in Britishers terms they say it mutiny,
Right.
and they created all the infrastructure, all rule regulation, and
Correct.
administrative and judicial system to
Correct.
crush that kind of initiative. Right?
Right.
It
Yeah.
was intended to exploit you. It was intended to terrorize you. It was intended to insult you, humiliate you,
Right.
and create a facade of that they are very judicious and they are very nice people,
Right.
whereas the whole procedure was intended to delay, deny the justice. That's why even in the smallest of the cases, it takes 30 years, 40 years, and you do not get justice in that, right?
That is correct. Yes.
So I will ask Deepak one question from you. Had
Mm-hmm.
you been the prime minister of this country at the time of so-called independence, because it is nowhere independence, because you are living with the same set of the rules which were created for the slave Indians. And
Right.
now my question is to Deepak, that had you been the prime minister at that moment of the time, would you have preferred to impose the same set of the rules which were intended to humiliate, crush, and exploit your own countrymen?
Look, certainly not. I mean, to be honest, my prime agenda of leaving India right after my education was something that, obviously, the policies and the bits that I really never wanted to be part of. Yeah. And obviously, corruption at its peak when we look at in India, and probably the reason behind this is the inequality that is there in our society, and that has been created for that matter.
Mm,
What I really
I
feel.
will say everything is offshoot and product of these laws and regulations,
Mhm.
and even in the inequality has been created because of that only. And
Yeah,
the system is almost inaccessible. Whatever the set of laws we are having,
right.
the same machinery is not really obeying them.
That's correct.
So,
But
so
sir, one thing I wanted to understand because we've had like one of the cases. I'll just tell you one of the recent examples that we had of
Mhm,
we normally call it Batan for our piece of land that
mhm,
we were fighting a case for, and simply from like a basic huzur office to
mhm.
fighting the case to High Court was one of the examples after coming back from New Zealand what I observed. But
Mm-hmm.
to be honest, at the end of the day, I really gave up because I escalated through CM helpline. I escalated to PMO, every possible place. To be honest, but then to be honest, the guys at the top, they're decision makers. But then, to be honest, the kind of reporting that they really get from the bottom is something which is very manipulative, or probably they're not really bothered doing it. So, I mean, at times you really feel, I mean, who are you fighting against? Because you're not going to get justice, to be honest. So, at the end of the day, people like us who really do not have authority, they ultimately have to accept the way the life is and just move on with it. That's what I see it as. And half of
Yeah.
our population feels that just
Uh-huh.
leave it.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Basically, Deepak, you have told everything in a nutshell, and
Yeah.
your own story is a loud example of how the system is behaving.
Yes.
And system has been designed to behave in this way only. It
Right.
is our fault that we are living with that kind of the system, and our politicians, they are not leader. They are
They're not.
they are basically all the time preferring the bad people,
Yeah.
and they have created a system, and they could very successfully kill democracy.
That's correct.
So, I mean, if we put it in the two part, one part is the process of selecting it, or
Yeah.
rather we can put in three parts. Number one, the way the politicians themselves are selecting their candidate to contest, number one.
Right.
Second,
Correct.
the electioneering process. And third is, after getting elected, they are not behaving as a representative. So, the
Right.
whole problem is in three parts, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Now, first part, that is the selecting the candidate itself. So, they do not prefer the good candidate. They
Right.
prefer the illiterate, bad mannered, bad cultured,
Yeah,
rather
but then
rather bad character criminals
correct.
over the good people,
That's right.
and
That's
that
very
they are
true.
doing despite there had been three PILs in the Supreme Court,
Right.
and Supreme Court has requested Parliament to enact the law that criminals should not be eligible to have the tickets,
Right.
and that kind of the amendment has not been done despite the fact there was a three such PIL. In all three PILs,
Okay.
Supreme Court repeated the same thing.
Okay.
So, uh, the very intent of the politician is highly doubtful.
That is
We
right. Yeah.
we just cannot rely on them. They themselves amassing money. Even the public is going and getting basically deprived of everything.
Right.
And these politicians, they are amassing money, and their bureaucrats are also amassing money,
Correct. Yes.
right? And
Yes.
they are just not bothered. Now
Right.
they are bringing you the bigger international airports, this, that, and impression is being created that quality amenities and facilities are being created.
Yes.
Do you know
That's
why
a
they are?
perception.
Do you know why they are created?
Sir, it's a perception that is being created to deceive common
Yes, you
people.
are very right.
Yeah.
It is the perception very being created.
So we
Uh,
are into this perception. The whole of India is under a perception, what they see, what they believe in, and media on top of that support the overall idea. Now, technically, I've lived in New Zealand. Believe it, we would find finance minister walking down the road, and he would be so approachable that you actually can go and talk to them. And when you look at India, I mean, like, what do you see here? You probably have to wait, even if there is a person who would be dying,
you
but you
can
really have to give that.
you cannot even approach your SHO.
That's what.
Even your Tehsildar is not amenable to you.
Correct. That's what is ironical here, right? So,
Mhm.
I mean, we're living in a country which is the largest democracy, but then
Is it?
again,
Basically, I am searching democracy, and despite the fact I myself the DGP for 7 long years,
so I'm surprised because you're part of the system, right? So you're basically you have to deal with politicians on a day-to-day basis. I mean,
and they are highly afraid of me.
so
Yeah?
probably you're brave enough to probably fight those basic issues. So yeah, but then not many you'd find around who would be vocal like you are. What I really feel in India.
Basically, what I feel, rather than having a long discourse in understanding the process that is not very difficult,
Hmm.
I feel we are having the very easy option to transform things, and
Right.
that option is very easy.
Okay.
It is basically what we have understood. Though basically this crime-free Bharat and concept note was submitted to the government of India
Right.
and it was accepted as a national police mission, and that is being headed by me as a project head and a nodal officer of that mission.
Right.
Uh, but I came to firmly believe that they will never wish for and support crime-free Bharat because that is not their game plan.
Yeah.
Because if the crime-free Bharat will be there, then they will be the first to be rooted out,
That is correct.
and they will
Yeah.
not be. They will not like themselves to be routed out. As
That is
simple as
right.
that. As simple as.
And so that's why they wouldn't let this plan be successful.
Very true. But we are saying, forget. I am here to defeat you. I am here. Not even a single politician will win.
Right.
This is the basically action plan. It is saying that everybody, including Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi
Yeah.
and all other political parties, even the people, those who feel they are born with the kind of fortune
Right.
that they will fight as many election as they want, and
Right.
they will be winning it also, and they will become the minister, prime ministers, and chief ministers.
Correct.
And not only it is limited to themselves, even the same fortune will be commanded by their children as well. तो उनके बच्चे भी जो है आगे चल के मुख्यमंत्री, मंत्री और प्रधानमंत्री ही बनेंगे, right?
Correct. Sir, बच्चे तो secondary हैं, but then people around them, they themselves feel they are ministers. So, I mean, practically speaking, the attitude a person carries, whosoever is connected with so-called minister, is willing to take advantage of the position of the minister who holds. And I don't know. I mean,
How much you believe that the system which has been enacted or which has been conceived, and we are very vigorously pursuing, and we would like that people like you should do their best as well.
Yeah.
These everybody, all politicians of all colors, they will be defeated, and not only defeated, they have to concede their defeat even before polling. It is such a powerful system. And do you know who will be making a difference? That I have given the name Crime Free Bharat member, right?
Right.
And who is the Crime Free Bharat member? Who is saying कि मैं तो डरा हुआ इंसान हूँ, मैं तो सहमा हुआ इंसान हूँ, मैं तो उत्पीड़ित इंसान हूँ, मैं तो अपमानित हूँ, मैं तो प्रताड़ित हूँ, राइट? मुझे सभी लोगों ने प्रताड़ित किया हुआ है, प्रशासनिक व्यवस्था ने, हमारे मित्रों ने, साथियों ने, पड़ोसियों ने, किसी ने मुझे नहीं छोड़ा है। मैं ऐसा डरा सहमा हुआ व्यक्ति हूँ, और मेरे जो सोच और चिंतन और पारिवारिक परिस्थितियां हैं वो मुझे पर्दे के आगे आने की इजाजत नहीं देती हैं, लिहाजा मैं पर्दे के पीछे रहूंगा। ये है क्राइम फ्री भारत का सदस्य, डरा हुआ, सहमा हुआ, घबराया हुआ, उत्पीड़ित, अपमानित। और इसके स्ट्रेंथ पे हम कह रहे हैं कि सभी राजनीतिक पार्टी के सभी राजनेता हार जाएंगे। Would you like to understand that?
I get it, but then people really have to be vocal about it. I do get it.
They need not to be. They really need not to be. The one person vocalness is good enough. That is Maithili Saran Gupta.
Okay.
Everybody else has to listen and ask the questions, and after their doubts are clarified, they should join. If they are they feel they are the person, those who are afraid they are a sufferer, then join as a member. Or those who feel that they are not fearful, they can take things ahead, not staying behind the curtain. Such people are called Chandragupta. And what the Chandragupta is expected to do? They are expected to go in a small places, sit with them, watch the video which is most relevant to them. So there's a channel called Crime Free Bharat. If you have not subscribed it, I will suggest that you please go to YouTube channel.
Sure.
And do that.
I'll surely do that. Yes.
Okay. So it is something like that.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So this is basically something which will give you the material on each aspect. How the life will be different. How this law will be changed. How this same apparatus will become the absolutely transparent, accountable, and sensitive to the need and expression of the public, and failing which they have to pay through their noses. So they have to pay very heavy compensation if they are failed to do their lawful duty which they are supposed to perform.
Right.
It's
Sure.
just that kind of the system. Your whole education system will be changed, where it will become innovation and creativity oriented. Even the student of the primary, they will be full of the creativity. They will not be mugging things.
Right.
So it everything will change around, and for that they need not to really put efforts. That has been done by their Chandragupta, that is Chanakya, that is Mathili Sharan Gupta. I have
Right.
already created those models
Sure.
and created a philosophy to how to translate them into the law and things. So
Sure.
so it will not be imposed on the public.
Right.
Whatever the model has been generated, that will be first refined with the first degree of the refinement will be brought through
Right.
the people, those who have having the skills, and they have contributed their lifetime for
Right.
developing the expertise in those areas. So
Sure.
their input will be taken and the model will be refined, taking their input, right?
Sure. Yes.
Second degree of refinement will be when this model, because whatever will be discussed with the experts, that will be live. So the purpose is to educate public.
Right.
So
Correct.
by the time that 15 days will be over, where
Right.
these experts will be contributing, deliberating this, that, and agreeing and disagreeing,
Right.
and then whatever the part felt appropriate, that will be incorporated in the refinement.
All
Then
right.
it will go to the public for 45 days, and there will be live discussion in the public. Whatever the concerns and criteria and suggestions which are
Right.
appropriate, they will be adopted, and that will be used for the second degree of refinement.
All right.
Now the third refinement will be with the Chandragupta. Yahan Chandragupta will be the, say, Vidhayak, Sansad, Mantri, Mukhyamantri, Pradhan Mantri, etc. Right?
Right.
And this
Correct.
refinement will also not take, will be taking in the parliament. It will not be in Vidhan Sabha. It will be out in public and it will be relayed live.
Right.
And whatever the concerns and input will be coming from them, after the due deliberation, whatever felt appropriate will be incorporated. That will be the third degree of that, or third steps, or third refinement,
Refinement.
right?
Right. Yeah.
When it is totally agreed, then that will be called a full dress wrestle out of the parliament or Vidhan Sabha.
Right.
Then full and final show will be happening in the parliament and Vidhan Sabha, and the kind of the debate which will be happening there,
Right.
it will be world class, because by then your Chandragupta, they will be understanding the micro details of those models,
Right.
and they can deliberate. They may not be the expert, but they have inherited everything best possible from every corner, and
Right.
they can discuss in great details. So that
Sure.
debate will be of the world class, and
Right.
then model will be become the law of land.
Right.
Now let's discuss a situation if the Chandragupta, because there's a lot of manipulation and the world is looking at the India, and they would like to manipulate and purchase people, and we are a purchasable commodity,
Right.
right? So
That's
they
true.
would like to purchase your whosoever has become prime minister, right?
Right.
This model will not allow that to happen, right? Because
Correct.
even if he is purchased, what he will do? Everything is in public,
Public. Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So you will agree, even if the person is not that stature or not having that kind of the thinking,
Right.
is still he will not be in position to affect the 21 models which has been already created
Right.
negatively. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. Quite right.
Yeah. Now this so-called sadasya or members,
Mhm.
they are saying कि मैं तो डरा हुआ हूँ, I am behind the curtain,
Right.
but I am taking the pledge to brief our people as your father has done, right?
Right.
I will brief my family members, I will brief my relatives, I will brief my neighbors and my friends, etc.
Yeah.
And rather, we will see the appropriate videos which are available on Crime Free Bharat, which is the most relevant for the group.
Right. Correct.
And that will be deliberated, and their doubts, questions, that will be very well captured,
Right.
and will be sent to the President Mathili Sharan Gupta, to me, right?
Right. Right.
And in turn, I will be sending them a live link for discussion.
Right. Right.
That will be a live link.
Right.
Okay?
That'll be inspiring. So
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll probably, since we obviously you have a motive already,
Uh-huh.
and yeah, if you really can bring that difference, which is
Mm.
really going to be wonderful for masses, I really see that as,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, you definitely will have full support with that objective that you really have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So
and
I would like that. What kind of the role you would like to play, of a Chandragupta or as a member?
certainly Chandragupta, I've been
Chandragupta.
wanting to be
Okay.
guiding. I've been inspiring my students.
Okay.
I've been mentoring my students, and I really look forward to giving them a better life for their better career. So, look, I really believe in equality. I feel like, each person should be, because the way we seeing our youth who, you look at the resources that we have in India, and how do we utilize them, despite like people who are skillful have no jobs, right? So why not take?
Do you know that in India there will be not even a single person without job?
I mean, that is how we always would aspire
Do,
to
do,
see
do
India.
you know that in future the poorest of the poor and richest of the rich
Right.
will be getting whatever the education they feel appropriate for them without
Yeah.
being bothered of the resources required. They need not to look at the pocket of their father.
Right.
That kind of the system. So in future, as per the
Hmm.
crime-free Bharat model, people will be getting the education not at the cost or not at the as a burden to the parents, but
Right.
from their own debit fund.
Right.
So every person will be having two accounts. One is earning account and another is the debit account.
Right.
The debit account will be there to take care of your liabilities when you
Correct.
are not earning, right?
Right.
At the
Correct.
same time, the system will enable you to give you the kind of the task which you can perform proficiently without really compromising on any part
Right.
or your honor or anything. And you
Right.
will be earning enough resources to to clear all your liability. Rather, you
Right.
can get more than that and you can support your families.
Right.
I mean, it's just a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
So now it is a time that to reach out to everybody without
Correct.
losing time,
Right.
and some small kind of the sangoshti has to be organized,
Yes.
and we have to explain them the concept, and for that the best thing to really listen the videos which are already available.
I will run through those videos on
Yeah.
YouTube.
So and then you can identify the videos which could be more relevant to the target group
Correct.
to whom you are approaching, because there will be the different kind of the people, haan thele wala, slum area wala, vyapari,
Right.
CA, chartered accountant, doctors, engineers. So everybody, the same video will not be equally appealing to everybody,
Correct.
right?
Yes.
So
Yes. That's
you
true.
have to identify that this is my target group and probably this video will be making more appeal to them, right?
Absolutely. Yes.
Right. And
Yes.
then, Jana, they should be, you have to watch along with them so that your own understanding will be each time will be increasing, right?
Correct. Yes.
Because
That's
you
right.
will be enhancing your own knowledge and understanding about the model. More and more you will listen, you will go deeper into the model, right?
Right. Correct.
And then you have to capture the questions which are coming into their mind,
Correct.
and that has to be reduced in the writing in a register, and
Right.
then has to be then photocopied and to be sent on the telegram, because
Right.
WhatsApp is also not behaving properly with me.
Right.
So the I am opting for the telegram, so it should be sent on the telegram, right?
Okay.
The
Sure.
moment you will send me those queries,
Right.
in the reverse, I will be sending you the live link to have a discussion.
Right.
So those
Sure.
people would be in position to ask the direct question to Maithili Saran Gupta, and it
Right.
will be played live to the world,
Right.
at least on the three channels simultaneously,
Right.
on
Sure.
Facebook and two channels of the YouTube also.
All right. Now,
Yeah,
sure thing.
yeah,
We
yeah,
will
yeah,
run through those and
yeah, yeah,
probably
yeah.
try to educate people around you and the audience.
Basically, it has to be done in a very meticulous way. The moment they say to become the Chandragupta, you are supposed to do two things. Number one, there's a registration pledge
Mhm.
for the Chandragupta, right?
Right. Hmm.
It is in Hindi. I think you should have no problem in understanding Hindi. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah. Of course not.
Okay, so that you can do that and you can sign it and fill the blank, because
Yes.
it is presuming that if you are a sincere Chandragupta, then you will be coming into the competition. and if you by adding the people, because that is the only competition, right?
Right.
So if you had added the right number of the people, or you have done the activity which is bringing you the more marks, then you will come into the merit list. And the person in the merit list that Crime Free Bharat rep will reach to him, will salute him and will give him the certificate of the Chandragupta, and will give him the ticket of the Vidhayak also.
Okay.
So you are getting a ticket without doing any chanchagiri, without requesting anybody. It is a hard-earned ticket by yourself, right?
Correct.
Then you are not supposed to, you are not do any canvassing, because
Right.
the member is taking pledge that whosoever will be declared the Chandragupta of my area,
Right.
I will climb on the rooftop and I will shout at the top of my voice,
Right.
and I will basically take a pledge of voting for him, right?
Sure.
And that
Sure.
I will be doing every day from the day the person is declared as a Chandragupta,
Right.
and up to the date when final voting is done.
Right. Sure.
So under this model, without any canvassing, all members or all politicians, they will be forced to concede their defeat even before actual poll takes place. That is the strength of the model. So I will really would like to appreciate you that you kindly go into it and understand it, and then we can have when you are ready in a day or two, just give me a twinkle. I will connect you through the live link,
Sure.
right? So
Absolutely.
that discussion will be watched by everybody, and probably then you can share that too with your friends also.
Absolutely.
And in that we will prefer the Hindi language, because probably that will be more understandable by.
नहीं I'm comfortable. मैं हिंदी में भी बात कर लेता हूँ.
हाँ, तो उसमें कोई ऐसी प्रॉब्लम नहीं रहेगी, क्योंकि हमारी बात जो है वो ज्यादा क्राउड तक पहुंचना चाहिए.
करेक्ट. हाँ
है ना? तो वो वाली बात है. और इमीडिएटली हमें उन्हें, यदि वो डरे हुए प्राणी हैं तो सदस्य की शपथ लेना है, और यदि वो चंद्रगुप्त का जो है ना सोच रखते हैं तो वो करना होगा, राइट?
Correct.
So, but Deepak, it was a pleasure talking to you.
Same here, sir.
है ना?
Thank you.
And we will stay connected, right?
हाँ जी, I'll stay connected.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Take care. Have a nice day. Bye.
Good day.